Hey, this is great. Are we ready? Cool, I'm not. Let's go. All right. The year is 531 BCE. Thank you. You are a Greek citizen of Cyrene on the south coast of the Mediterranean, and you are horny. So, you go to the market and you pull out your coins. They have silphium plants on the back of them. Come back here. You pass some merchants selling premium, freshly harvested silphium plants. No, that's too expensive. Let's not. You pass some merchants selling terracotta figurines of a demigoddess holding silphium. No, you're not horny enough to have sex with that one. And finally, you make your way to a back alley. And in that back alley, a man of debatable scruples is selling just the thing that you need. So, maybe it's not real silphium. Maybe it's like a wild weed or an herb from the same family. Or, look, okay, hey, maybe it is real silphium, okay? It's real resin. It's just been cut up with some, like, ground beans or some rubber to make it cheaper. It's fine, because I gotta repeat, you are horny. And silphium can do fucking anything. Hey gang, my name is Kyle. I'm really excited to be here. Thank you all for coming tonight. For those of you who have not met me before, I've been on this stage before. I have been up here telling stories of people getting way too horny about eels. I have been up on this stage before telling stories of people getting way too horny about weasels. We should make that a callback. Thank you. Tonight we are all in luck because I have a story of people getting way too horny about plants. So, silphium, it only grew in this pretty tiny range. It's now the northeastern coast of Libya. And around 630 BCE or so, this small group, thank you, biremes, this small group of starving exiled Greeks had come over, and the local Libyan people who were already living there, they said, you can stay, fine, whatever, just please stay 30 miles that way because you're kind of annoying, which was totally fair, completely fair. And so, with the support of the locals, these starving exiled Greeks founded this little city called Cyrene, which coincidentally was right in the smack dab goddamned middle of the entire planet's silphium supply. Now, silphium was a relative of the modern giant fennel, except that it was cooler than the modern giant fennel in every conceivable way. If you used its resin as a spice, it could make all of your food taste incredible. There are so many ancient Roman recipes that call for this that like people are still recreating today. It could be brewed into a perfume. If you let your livestock graze on it, they would have the tenderest meat in the Mediterranean. If you took your resin and applied it to you topically, it could heal your fever. It could treat your dog bite. It could fix up your anal prolapse. But here is where shit gets really interesting. Silphium was a legitimately effective form of birth control. Now, treating fevers and rashes and prolapses and tenderizing meats, it's not that hard to write a lot of this off as snake oil. Like, especially a lot of the accounts of silphium as a wonder drug, they weren't even published until like generations after it had gone extinct. But the contraceptive properties of silphium, those were actually real. Now, silphium is unfortunately extinct. Modern scientists aren't able to source any to test, but do you remember that shady back alley dealer who I mentioned earlier? That guy. Recall that he was maybe selling some herbs from that same silphium family? Those wild herbs, those relatives of silphium, those still exist today. They are still growing all over the Mediterranean, and ancient writers widely agreed that if you could not get your hands on silphium, these would basically do in a pinch. Modern controlled laboratory studies as recently as 2009 have investigated these surviving silphium relatives, and in rats, they caused a 67% reduction in pregnancy. You don't understand. Even in the rats that remained pregnant, the number of embryos went from 8 down to 1. This shit really works. And this is the inferior back alley substitute. Imagine what actual silphium could do. back then, if you were having heterosex, I mean, first of all, I'm sorry, and you didn't want to get pregnant and you didn't have any silphium or relatives, your best chance was to take some honey and leaves and lint and stick it in your vagina. I wish that were a joke. It is not a joke. That was the height of reproductive technology at the time. But now, with silphium, we have this delicious and readily available spice that doubles as a socially acceptable contraceptive. And that shit blows the fuck up. Not even 100 years after Cyrene had been founded, by 530 BCE, Cyrene was one of the most dominant cities in the entire Mediterranean just on the strength of this one plant. If you look at every coin minted in the city for a 500-year period, just as sure as every coin in your pocket has some like random dead white dude on it, all their coins had silphium on them. All of them. Here's a coin showing a silphium stock. Here's a coin showing Zeus standing next to some silphium. Here's a coin with like a whole fucking field of silphium or something. Here's a coin showing a silphium seed pod. Does that look like anything to you, by the way? Butts. There are people in this room right now, I can tell you, that are prepared to throw hands with me if I just tell you this is the origin of the heart symbol. It's maybe the origin of the heart symbol. There's like 4 competing theories for how we get our modern heart symbol that represents love, but this theory has a lot going for it, and I really like it. The theory that our modern heart symbol symbolizing love comes from the silphium seed pod, it's pretty well supported. It wasn't just a delicious spice. It wasn't just a birth control. Silphium had a reputation as an aphrodisiac. People wrote poetry about this shit, and unfortunately for a lot of you, I'm going to recite some of it. Are you ready? I'm still not ready. Here we go. The maiden and all her girlish apparel had disappeared, and in the room were found images of men, a table, and silphium. You ask how many kisses would be enough, as many as the number of Libyan sands in silphium-bearing Cyrene. I'm sorry, please forgive me later. Scientifically, was silphium actually an aphrodisiac in the same way that it was actually an effective birth control? Like, no. But like also kind of, yeah. Yes, look, I think that silphium was an effective aphrodisiac in the same way that it's an aphrodisiac when your date tells you that they're on the pill or that they brought a condom. Nothing gets people hornier than the idea of sex without consequences. Absolute. Yeah, give it up. Thank you. Silphium was a legend in its own time. By the time that the Romans took over Cyrene in about 75 BCE, it was literally worth its weight in silver. When Julius Caesar back here was doing the whole civil war with Pompey thing, he took 3 things from the Roman treasury to finance it. He took gold, he took silver, and he took 1,500 pounds of silphium resin. And then his shitty nephew, Caesar Augustus, demanded all of the world's silphium be sent directly to Rome as tribute. This is everything. This is unfortunately where we meet the villains of this story. It's the Romans. Every fucking time. So, as I mentioned near the beginning of this talk, silphium, it really had a pretty tiny range. Putting it into a local comparison, we're talking roughly the square mileage of like the East Bay, South Bay, Peninsula, and let's let Marin come too. Why not? They deserve something nice for once. And it refused to grow anywhere else at all. Anytime a farmer attempted to plant a silphium seed, it literally just wouldn't grow, because silphium was a hybrid plant and it could only self-clone via its roots in the perfect soil conditions. Now the Greeks, they understood that, probably thanks to the Libyans who were there first, and the Greeks really gave a shit. The government of Cyrene enforced state control over silphium. There were laws that you had to follow. You could only harvest so much every year. You weren't allowed to harvest an entire plant. You could only cut it in certain ways that let it propagate and regrow. Cyrene flourished as a botanical monopoly for over 500 years because of these laws. And it was, of course, fucking colonialism that ruined everything. As usual. As usual. The Romans who took over, they ceased state control over the silphium. They literally just auctioned off entire fields of it to the highest bidder for a quick buck. And in turn, that really pissed off the local Greeks who tore down fences and conducted agrarian terrorism by setting their entire flocks on the silphium fields instead of seeing a single additional stem sent to Roman coffers. Basically, except that within a few decades of Roman rule, silphium was fully extinct. This has the very sad distinction of being the first human-caused extinction in all of recorded history. The first known human-caused extinction was a direct result of colonialism. And in the way of a lot of beautiful things that are gone now, it's still here. It's still inspiring us. Literally just last month on a whim, before I even agreed to give this talk, by the way, I booted up an old favorite video game, Assassin's Creed Origins. Yeah, it's a great one, where you go to Cyrene and you fight against the Romans to protect silphium. I took this screenshot of, yeah, fuck the Romans. I took this screenshot of probably historically inaccurate silphium farming in-game. We miss silphium so much, we are still cooking with its back alley relatives. Asafoetida, also known as hing, that's a close relative. It's a popular spice in Indian and Middle Eastern cooking. You can do one of two things. You can go to your local Indian market after the show tonight and you can buy some. It's cheap, it's delicious. You can fry it up with some hot oil, it's aromatic. Or the second thing you can do is you can catch one of the bottles I'm about to throw into the audience right at this goddamn moment. I'm gonna throw them as softly as possible, but I'm not insured, so please don't be injured. Okay, here we go, you ready? Wow, not injured, number one. Success, basically. Same placement, sorry Floor, I didn't mean it. All right, one more, are we ready? I only bought 3, they're like $2, and that's a lot of money around the bay. Go team. We haven't stopped researching contraceptive technology. Literally just last year, the European Union began the approval process on a vaginal ring targeted to low-income countries. It's not just a contraceptive, it's an HIV preventive. And you know what? We haven't stopped searching for existing silphium either. In 2021, that's just 5 years ago, a professor of botany at Istanbul University published a paper theorizing that silphium is still here, surviving in Turkey. Now, a lot like the theory that the heart symbol comes from the silphium seed pods, it's debated, but it has a lot going for it. It's from that same giant fennel family. It's been used in folk remedies for many, many years, and visually, it looks really damn similar to old depictions of silphium. We can't know for sure, but even after 2,000 years of being relegated to legend, it's still inspiring us. It's guiding our goals. So the next time that you tell your boss, for example, that you filed that JIRA ticket and they react with a little heart emoji, I need you to remember, this is very important, they're not telling you they appreciate you. What they're saying is that they hope your next meal is fragrant and amazing. They're telling you that they hope your anal prolapse goes away. They're saying that they want to have sex with you, but God, they really hope nobody gets pregnant about it. Please join me in raising a glass to effective contraception, to good food, and most important of all, to your boss never asking you to file another fucking JIRA ticket ever again after you tell them this story. Thank you so much, everybody.